government to start functioning from October 1st and September 31st. Advisory Council approves the draft of Interim Government Ordinance 2024. World Bank assures of providing $2 billion finance assistance for Bangladesh. No project to be taken and no tender to be issued without open competition in energy and gas sector, says Energy Advisor. International Crimes Tribunal receives 28 allegations of killings during anti-discrimination movement of students and people, says Chief Prosecutor. Metro Rail to operate all the 7 days of a week, including Friday, from tomorrow. Israel bombs Hezbollah's strongholds in Lebanon following walkie-talkie explosion that killed 25, leaving 450 injured. And India scores 339 runs for 6 in their first innings against Bangladesh on day 1 in Chennai Test. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Tulika Mulika Das, welcoming you all to News at 10. You have just heard the highlights, now moving on to the details. The 6 reform commissions set up by the interim government will start functioning from October 1st and will submit their reports by December 31st. The decision was taken at a meeting with the heads of the Reform Commission held at the Chief Advisor office today. Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus presided over the meeting. The meeting discussed the reform ideas, the modalities of the Reform Commission, the process of selecting its members, the Commission's involvement with political parties and professional organizations. After the meeting, Advisor Dr. Asif Nazrul, Chief of the Election System Reform Commission, Dr. Badiul Alam Majumdar, Special Assistant to the Chief Advisor Mahfuz Alam and Press Secretary to the Chief Advisor Shafiqul Alam briefed reporters at the Foreign Service Academy in the evening.
আমরা মোটামুটি মোটা দাগে কয়েকটা ঐক্যমত প্রতিষ্ঠিত হয়েছে যে কমিটিগুলো আপনার 1 অক্টোবরের মধ্যে কাজ শুরু করবে এবং আমরা আশা করছি ওনারা 31 ডিসেম্বরের মধ্যে একটা রিপোর্ট আমাদের জমা দিবেন এবং সেই রিপোর্টের ভিত্তিতে নেক্সট ফেজ বা সেকেন্ড ফেজে আমাদের যে প্রধান উপদেষ্টা আছেন ওনার নেতৃত্বে আমাদের যে উপদেষ্টা মণ্ডলী সেটা রাজনৈতিক দলগুলোর সাথে এই সংস্কার ভাবনা নিয়ে আলোচনা শুরু করবে। এরপর আরও ব্রড বেস কনসালটেশন হবে, সবাই মিলিয়ে সমস্ত সমাজের সকল স্তরের মানুষের প্রতিনিধিত্ব থাকবে। সংস্কার কমিশনগুলোর রিপোর্ট পাওয়ার পর সেগুলি অনলাইনে উন্মুক্ত করে দেওয়া হবে, সবার মতামতকে রিফ্লেক্ট করার চেষ্টা করা হবে এবং এটার ভিত্তিতে আজকে ছাত্র জনতার যে আন্দোলনের গণ অভ্যুত্থানের বিপ্লবের যে প্রত্যাশা, সেই প্রত্যাশা আপনারা জানেন শুধু নির্বাচনের মধ্যে সীমাবদ্ধ ছিল না, সেটা ছিল একটা রাষ্ট্র সংস্কারের প্রশ্ন এবং প্রকৃত গণতন্ত্র প্রতিষ্ঠার স্বপ্ন এবং বাংলাদেশে যেন কোনোদিন আর কখনো ফ্যাসিবাদী শাসন ব্যবস্থা জাঁকিয়ে উঠতে না পারে সেই সম্ভাবনা রোধ করার লক্ষ্যে কী সংস্কার করা প্রয়োজন সেই ধরনের চিন্তা ছাত্র জনতার আন্দোলনের মধ্যে দিয়ে প্রতিফলিত হয়েছিল। সবার এক্সপেকটেশন সেটা ছিল, সেটার লক্ষ্যে এই সংস্কার কমিশনগুলো প্রাথমিক স্তরে কাজ শুরু করেছে। আমাদের সাথে ভারতের এক্সট্রাডিশন ট্রিটি আছে, সেই এক্সট্রাডিশন ট্রিটি অনুযায়ী ভারতে যদি কোনো আমাদের কনভিক্টেড মানুষ থাকেন, উনি সাবেক প্রধানমন্ত্রী হন আর যাই হন না কেন, ওনার এক্সট্রাডিশন বা প্রত্যার্পণ আমরা চাইতে পারি। আমরা খুব দ্রুত আইন মন্ত্রণালয়ের মাধ্যমে আপনাদের জানাবো যে আমাদের এই ছাত্র জনতার বিপ্লবকালে যেই গণহত্যা ঘটেছে, যেই মানবতা বিরোধী অপরাধ ঘটেছে, সেটার বিচারের লক্ষ্যে আমরা কিছু পদক্ষেপ ইতিমধ্যে গ্রহণ করেছি, দৃশ্যমান কিছু অগ্রগতি হয়েছে। আমাদের ইনভেস্টিগেশন যে টিম আছে সেটা গঠিত হয়ে গেছে, প্রসিকিউশন টিম গঠিত হয়ে গেছে, আদালত পুনর্গঠনের চিন্তা চলছে। অচিরেই আপনারা দেখবেন বিচার শুরু হয়েছে, বিচার শুরু হওয়ার পর ডেফিনেটলি আমরা এক্সট্রাডিশন চাবো।
আমরা একটা কর্তৃত্ববাদী সরকারের অধীন ছিলাম, আমরা বিভিন্নভাবে বঞ্চিত হয়েছি, ভোটাধিকার থেকে শুরু করে বহু ক্ষেত্রে আমাদের বঞ্চনা এবং অতীতটা যেন আবার পুনরাবৃত্তি না ঘটে। এই জন্যই কতগুলো পরিবর্তন আনতে হবে, কতগুলো সংস্কার করতে হবে।
গণ অভ্যুত্থানের মধ্য দিয়ে গঠিত সরকারের একটি গুরুত্বপূর্ণ দায়িত্ব আছে, সেটা হচ্ছে যে বাংলাদেশের যে প্রতিষ্ঠানগুলো গত 15 বছর ধ্বংস করে দেওয়া হয়েছে এবং গত 53 বছর অভিজ্ঞতায় আমরা দেখেছি যেগুলো আসলে কাজ করতে পারছে না জনগণের স্বার্থে, জনগণের জন্য, সেগুলোকে ঢেলে সাজানো। ফলত প্রাথমিকভাবে 6টি সংস্কার কমিশন গঠিত হয়েছে। কমিশনগুলো এই ক্ষেত্রে যথেষ্ট পরিমাণ স্বাধীন থাকবে, তাদের কার্য পরিধির বিষয়টিও আলোচিত হয়েছে ওখানে। ফলত আপনারা এটা খুব শীঘ্রই জানতে পারবেন যে কোন কোন ক্ষেত্রগুলোতে ওনারা কাজ করবেন।
The Advisory Council has given final approval to the draft of the Interim Government Ordinance 2024. The approval was given at a meeting of the Advisory Council held at the Chief Advisor's office at Tejgaon in the capital today. Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus presided over the meeting. The meeting also approved the draft of Policy for Disclosure of Income and Wealth Statement of Advisors and Person of Equivalent Status 2024 of the Interim Government. The Advisory Council approved the policy of publishing the draft income and wealth statement to the Chief Advisor through the Cabinet Division within 15 working days after the last date of submission of income tax every year. Members of the Advisory Council, secretaries concerned and officials of the Chief Advisor's office were present in the meeting. World Bank Vice President Martin Reiser has said World Bank is ready to be part of key economic reforms of the interim government. He said this during his meeting with Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus at his office at Tejgaon in Dhaka today. Martin Reiser said World Bank is ready to help in response to the Chief Advisor call for broader support for the interim government's move to fix economy, clean up corruption and undertake key reforms in areas such as judiciary. Professor Muhammad Yunus welcomed the bank's support, saying the interim government has got a broader mandate from the people to get rid of corruption and make a new start. He said the students-led mass uprising in July-August prepared the ground for big reforms in the existing system. Professor Yunus outlined the reform initiatives his government has so far rolled out and added that in the economic front, the top priority is eliminating corruption and ensuring labor reforms. He said the government would implement ILO conventions in labor reforms, which will boost foreign investors' confidence in Bangladesh and also help local manufacturers gain international foothold. Martin Reiser appreciated the move to woo foreign direct investment, saying the annual FDI in Bangladesh is about 0.5% of the country's GDP and was one of the lowest in the region. Reiser said the World Bank also approved $700 billion for the Rohingya humanitarian crisis and for the host communities in Cox's Bazar. The Chief Advisor said he was keen for support for the hundreds of thousands of young people who have been growing up in the Rohingya camps in Cox's Bazar. Advisor to the interim government on the Ministries of Finance and Commerce, Dr. Salahuddin Ahmed, has said that the World Bank would provide support to Bangladesh in carrying out necessary reforms in the banking and other sectors. He said this after meeting with Martin Reiser, Vice President for the South Asia region of the World Bank, at the Secretariat today. The advisor said the World Bank will provide $2 billion financial assistance for Bangladesh's budget and bigger projects in the current fiscal year. Stating that there was a positive discussion with the representatives of the World Bank, the finance advisor said that the World Bank will also assist in budget support, electricity and energy and flood rehabilitation. The finance advisor said they also discussed issues related to boosting investment in the private sector and addressing various challenges in business and trade. The World Bank representative said that Bangladesh will be given $2 billion or more for the current financial year until June. Ambassador of Bhutan to Bangladesh, Rinchen Kwensil, paid a courtesy call on the advisor for Foreign Affairs, Mohammad Tawhid Hussain, at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs today. Ambassador Rinchen Kwensil congratulated the advisor on his new role. The envoy hoped that his vast experience in the arena of diplomacy would contribute to advancing the foreign policy of Bangladesh. During their discussion, advisor Muhammad Tawhid Hussain mentioned that Bangladesh and Bhutan enjoy excellent bilateral relations, which is based on shared history, geographical proximity and mutual respect. Official concerned were present on the occasion. Economists have underscored the need for ensuring good governance in the financial sector to rescue the destroyed economy left out by the fascist government of Sheikh Hasina. They also stressed on coming out from the culture of impunity. The experts urged all concerned to diversify export goods and explore new markets. They said to control inflation is the biggest challenge for now. They said monetary policy, fiscal policy and market management have to be made efficient in this regard. The economists suggested for a joint work plan comprising of Bangladesh Bank, NBR and the Commerce Ministry to face the challenges caused by the mismanagement and corruption of the fascist Awami League government led by Sheikh Hasina. The government jeopardized the banking sector and the capital market. Advisor to the Ministry of Power, Energy and Mineral Resources, Muhammad Fazul Kabir Khan, assured that there will be no shortage of gas or electricity in the country due to the dollar crisis. The advisor made the comment while discussing the current gas reserves and addressing misinformation regarding the gas discovery in Bhola today. Clarifying the situation, he said the Bhola North gas field contains 2 TCF of gas and 2.6 TCF of resources that are accessible. However, reports in some newspaper claiming that the Bhola field holds 5 TCF of gas are entirely inaccurate. In his speech, Fazul Kabir also highlighted ongoing initiatives to expand the country's gas reserves. He said the government are planning to dig 100 more wells across the country. All future projects and tenders would follow open competition with input from expert committees to prevent any irregularities, he said. Regarding the payment for electricity from India's Adani Power, the advisor mentioned that the government has requested $1 billion each from the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank ADB as budget support. From these funds, the government aims to settle dues related to electricity and gas, helping mitigate any future crises, he added. 28 complaints have been submitted at the International Crimes Tribunal for killings in different parts of the country during the students' movement against the fascist government and discrimination. Tribunal Chief Prosecutor Muhammad Tajul Islam told this to reporter at a press conference today. Home Advisor Lieutenant General retired Muhammad Jahangir Alam Chaudhry directed the authorities concerned to ensure that no innocent person is harassed. He said lawsuits have to be filed against the real culprits after investigation. The advisor issued the directives while briefing journalists after a view exchange meeting with the Metropolitan Police officials at the DMP headquarters today. Earlier, the view exchange meeting was held with DMP Commissioner Muhammad Mainul Hassan in the chair. Home Advisor Lieutenant General retired Jahangir Alam Chaudhry directed police officials to stop extortion everywhere to keep the prices of goods at a tolerable level. He also issued directives to bring the godfathers of narcotics to book as early as possible alongside taking measures against bribery and corruption. IGP Muhammad Moinul Islam was present. The Kajipara Metro Rail Station is set to open on tomorrow, kicking off train service for the first day of the weekly holiday. The project's managing director, Muhammad Abdul Rauf, made the remarks at a press conference at the DMTCL office this afternoon. Asked about the timetable for the service on Friday, Rauf said, From tomorrow, the first train will set off from the Uttara North Station at 3:30 p.m. on Friday and the last at 9 p.m. The first train from the Motijheel Station will set off at 3:40 p.m. and the last at 9:40 p.m. He also said the schedules for the other days will remain the same. About reopening of the Mirpur station, Rauf said they are working to reopen it quickly. It will open as soon as possible. Thousands of students and people were injured in firing across the country, including the capital, during the anti-discrimination student movement. Many injured were treated at the National Institute of Traumatology and Orthopedic Rehabilitation. More than 800 bullet-hit injured have taken treatment at hospital. 5 also succumbed to their injuries at the same hospital. Institute of Traumatology and Orthopedic Rehabilitation authorities said at least 21 victims lost their limbs during the movement. They will be given artificial hands and legs. At least 3 people died of dengue in the last 24 hours, while 887 patients were hospitalized. All the 3 deaths were recorded from Dhaka South City Corporation areas. According to the Directorate General of Health Services, DGHS, with the new deaths and cases, the total number of deaths rose to 122, while total number of cases rose to 21,966, of which 12,137 are from outside Dhaka. Currently, 2,706 dengue patients are undergoing treatment, of which 887 are from outside Dhaka. A total of 19,138 patients have been released till today. Now, moving on to the international news. The death toll from 2 waves of attacks across the country has risen to 37, says Lebanon's Health Minister Firaz Abiyad. Wednesday's walkie-talkie blasts killed 25 and injured at least 600, while Tuesday's pager explosions killed 12 and injured more than 2,000. Lebanon's Director General of Civil Aviation has issued a new directive banning passengers from carrying pagers and walkie-talkie on board any aircraft after the devices exploded in coordinated attacks, state media says. Lebanon's foreign minister warns the blatant assault on Lebanon's sovereignty and security is a dangerous development that could signal a wider war. Meanwhile, Israel says it's carrying out fresh strikes on Hezbollah targets in southern Lebanon, moments before the group's leader Hassan Nasrallah begins a televised speech addressing attacks on his members. Nasrallah says Israel crossed all restrictions and red lines by carrying out the coordinating attacks. The United Nations General Assembly, UNGA, has overwhelmingly adopted a resolution calling on Israel to end its illegal occupation of the Palestinian territories within a year, a move that Palestine hailed as historic. The non-binding measure passed a 124-12 vote on Wednesday, with 43 countries abstaining. The UNGA demanded that Israel brings to an end without delay its unlawful presence in the occupied Palestinian territory. It also called on Israel to make repatriations to Palestinians for damages incurred by the occupation. The UNGA, whose mission includes promoting respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms, includes every sovereign country in the world. Meanwhile, at least 48 Palestinians were killed in Israeli attacks across the Gaza Strip on Wednesday, with 9 children among the victims, according to media. Social Welfare, Women and Children Affairs Advisor Sharmin Murshid said Bangladesh always believes in developing relations with neighboring countries, but that relation is not with any particular person or party. She was speaking at a seminar titled Dynamics of Relations with Bangladesh and Neighbors after the student movement in the current regional geopolitical scenario, organized by Diplomats World at the Foreign Service Academy in the capital today. The advisor said the previous government destroyed all the state institutions of the country. In this regard, they sought cooperation of all to build a new Bangladesh. Lieutenant General retired Muhammad Mahfuz Rahman, Chittagong University teacher, Professor Dr. Mahfuz Parvez, foreign ambassador and diplomats, international organizations, businessmen and media personnel were present on this occasion. Speaker at a meeting demanded trial of fascist Sheikh Hasina and her associates for the crime of genocide. They made the demand at a view exchange meeting organized by Nagorik Akanksha titled New Bangladesh Means a Democratic Humanitarian Welfare State in Dhaka today. Nagorik Oikko President Mahmudur Rahman Manna presided over the function, while journalist Mushfiqul Fazal Ansari, among others, spoke. The speakers also urged the interim government to keep a vigilant eye so that the mass upsurge of the student masses does not fail any way and the people's aspirations are fulfilled. Now news on sports. India scored 339 runs for 6 in their first innings against Bangladesh at stumps of Day 1 in Chennai Test. Ravichandran Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja were on the crease with 102 and 86 runs respectively at the end of the day. Earlier, Bangladesh won the toss and sent India to bat first. The hosts slipped to 34 for 3 inside the first hour of play, then 144 for 6 in the second session of the day. But a counter-attacking century from Ravichandran Ashwin pulled India to enlarge the scorecard. Ashwin and Jadeja made an unbeaten partnership of 195 runs. Hassan Mahmood bagged 4 for 58 runs, while Nahid Rana and Mehdi Miraj took 1 wicket each for Bangladesh. Now we are at the end of the bulletin. To end the bulletin, headlines once again. The 6 reform commissions set up by interim government to start functioning from October 1st and submit reports by December 31st. Advisory Council approves the draft of Interim Government Ordinance 2024. World Bank assures of providing $2 billion finance assistance for Bangladesh. No project to be taken and no tender to be issued without open competition in energy and gas sector, says energy advisors. International Crimes Tribunal receives 28 allegations of killings during anti-discrimination movement of students and people, says Chief Prosecutor. Metro Rail to operate all the 7 days of a week, including Friday, from tomorrow. Israel bombs Hezbollah strongholds in Lebanon following walkie-talkie explosion that killed 25, leaving 450 injured. And India scored 339 runs for 6 in their first innings against Bangladesh on Day 1 in Chennai Test. And that's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you for staying with us. We invite you to watch our next Bangla News Bulletin at 11:30 p.m. Until